Are we live? Let me adjust this real fast, real quick. No, we definitely don't want to do that. There we go. Uh how do we fix this green screen? Anyway, we'll just utilize the green screen. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks. Okay. How y'all living? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome to another fabulous rendition of Based on a True Story. Hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Share this with your friend, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this channel lit, by the way, in the YouTube algorithm, okay? So let's get into it. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Let me get situated here. It's not like I wasn't situated, but let's just get situated right here and get it crack-a-lacking, get it popping. I see there was something I was supposed to take care of that unfortunately I didn't take care of until right about now. But nevertheless, we still gonna get in here. I'm the best. How y'all living? How y'all living? So how everyone doing on this Saturday morning? Okay, got a couple of things to let you guys know. Your boy will be consistently dropping live streams every Saturday. I work things out with my employer, and basically, we got an understanding, and we got an understanding. So I'm gonna be having Saturdays off like I did at my previous job. I always had Saturdays off at my previous job. So I'll be having Saturdays off on this job. Hold on up 1 second. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. I should have gotten all this stuff done before I begin, but it is what it is. Okay. How y'all living? How y'all living? Definitely how y'all living. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about, my thoughts and my opinions on J. Cole's album. It dropped, I believe, last night. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions on that. We're also going to be talking about, should there be an age limit on BBLs? We're going to be talking about that as well. So we're about to get into this. Okay, first and foremost, let's just go ahead and talk about J. Cole and this new project that he has called The Drop Off. Now, he's been promoting this heavily. A lot of people have mixed opinions about it. And like I said, the drop off dropped, I believe, last night, okay, which is like roughly, I don't know, depending on what side of the coast you on, what type of time zone you're in. He dropped this like midnight, I believe, and even if he dropped it a day ago, still, there's a lot of songs on there that me personally, I don't understand how people are coming with these reviews. The reviews touched down. The majority of the reviews touched down last night, and I'm saying to myself, there's like over, like 15 songs on this album. And I feel like an artist such as J. Cole, you have to really pay attention to each track. You also got to pay attention to the lyrics. You also have to compare it to previous albums, previous projects, And did J. Cole, evolved the evolution of J. Cole? Okay, and I do feel like that takes time. That's just not something that you could you could just sample through. A lot of when you pay attention to J. Cole, when you pay attention to artists such as J. Cole, and this is why I always said people don't people when people review and analyze Kendrick Lamar's a lot of his projects, you get mixed emotions, you get mixed reviews. Some people f with it, some people don't f with it. Some people somewhat understand it, some people don't understand it. Some people look at the metaphors and draw it up to their conclusion, or they do extensive research and they explain in each bar, in each metaphor Kendrick Lamar echoes into his project. A lot of people say, well, this is what he's really saying. This is what he's really meaning. Okay. And when you're dealing with a complex, and complex can be a good thing, being complex is not a bad thing. But particularly with music, when you're dealing with when you're dealing with artists such as J. Cole, artists such as Jay Z, artists such as Kendrick Lamar, when you got uh, those type of artists, and they're really heavy and deep in their subliminals. They're really heavy and deep with their lyrics. There's like a consciousness in their metaphors as well as their lyrics and to their delivery. It takes time. And you just can't just listen to, and also when you listen to those artists I just mentioned, it's not about does it make your, it's not, when you listen to the whole entire project, you just can't box it into, well, is this something I can ride to and nod my head to it? Is this something I can take to the club? There's some songs in the club that are bangers, that things of that nature. When you're dealing with J. Cole, Jay Z, as well as Kendrick Lamar, I just mentioned those three. That's just a sample. When you're dealing with those type of artists, it takes a while to understand their projects. I don't think you can feasibly listen to any of those artists I just mentioned and give yourself 5 to 6 hours to listen to it from front to back and draw a conclusion on what of where he was coming from with this track. Is this album a banger? Does it have heat on it? If you're looking at it that simple, then yeah, there's gonna be tracks on there that people are gonna nod their heads to. They're gonna bang their head. They're gonna turn they're gonna turn the music up. Yeah, there could be some songs on there that can trend on TikTok. Yes, there's going to be some songs on there that you hear in the club when you go into the club. There's going to be some songs in there, but when you look at the whole entire project, that's not what these artists, make that type of music. They don't just simply focus on TikTok, whether or not it's you can sample something and utilize it on TikTok, or is it a banger in the club. When you're dealing with artists that are complex, such as Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Jay Z, I'm just listing those three. I'm pretty sure people are going to have thoughts in the comment section of other artists they can associate this vibe with. But when you're dealing with those type of artists don't put out music to be trendy. Those type of artists don't put out music to be popular. Those type of artists really take their music very, very seriously. And that's not to say other artists don't, but these artists, they look at these projects as footprints of, from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, someone is going to pick up their music and analyze it, and they're going to say, okay, this was J. Cole, This is the definition of J. Cole. I feel like, particularly, and I'm not a huge J. Cole fan. I do F with a lot of J. Cole's music. And I understand where he comes from when he talks about he has so much passion and emotion for his projects. It's not about J. Cole don't look at this as, okay, is this a banger? Is everybody going to bang this in the club? Is this a street knocker? Is everybody going? Are you going to be hearing my songs in the streets? Is this? Can some people take this music to TikTok or social media? J. Cole whole thought process when he creates these projects, he's not even thinking about that. He's trying to be true to himself. He's not riding other trends. He's riding his own trend. He's making his own wave. He's making his own impact. And that's what you get from artists such as not only J. Cole, but Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z. There's a deeper meaning to their music. There's a deeper metaphor to their projects. It's much more deeper than what appears to be on the surface. So to me, I can't justify giving you guys my opinion on the fall off because it's one of those projects where you're going to have to consume it in moderation, but you also have to consume it at your time, at your leisure time. Okay, not just to make a quick YouTube video so you could be first on social media to review J. Cole's project. And that's why you get so much and to me, when people do this, when a project drops, people come out with their opinions, people come out with their thoughts. They do videos, they do live streams, they talk about the project, and the project is not even 3 hours old. I mean, it just released. They're listening to maybe 10 to 5 seconds of a song, and they're judging that song off of the 5 to 10 seconds. And to me personally, I think that's a disservice to the influencer or to the content creator. It's a disservice to your subscriber base, and it's really a disservice to the artist in question. So I heard a lot of people criticizing it, and a lot of the major music critics or content creators or social media influencers, the majority of them, they don't like it. Okay. And like I said, from what I heard so far, and I let this be known, I'm not a huge J. Cole fan. I like some of his music. I don't like all of it. But from what I gathered from the fall off, there is some quality in some of the songs. I'm a huge lyricist. I don't pay attention. Of course, the beat got to be on time. You have to have a dope beat. I don't care how creative, how good you are on the microphone, or how your lyrics are and things of that nature. If it doesn't have a beat, then there's no meaning. It's like a disservice to the lyrics. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you ask for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you just get a jelly sandwich or peanut butter sandwich. That's not what you wanted. You wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So when I listen to music, I really be mindful and I pay attention to the lyrics. And lyrics are expressions. Lyrics are the lifestyle of the artist. It's the soundtrack to the artist. But more importantly, lyrics are the basic and the important foundation to a song. it separates you from other artists. You're not a one hit. If you're not a one hit wonder, you're not a I'm following whatever trend that's popping. Okay, so when you listen to a J. Cole or just any artist, I pay attention to their lyrics. I pay attention to the metaphors. I pay attention to the wordplay in the lyrics, and you know that's what most important. That's the most important thing to me as far as uh, an artist, judging an artist. And what I've heard so far, um, I kind of dig, I kind of like. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So guys, tell me in the comment section what you think. Um, welcome. Okay, we all right. I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions about it, but apparently I can't. All right. So I thought I thought that someone is commenting in the comments. Said, "Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go." All right, I see it. I see it now. Okay, so comment in the comment section. Tell me what your thoughts, what your opinions on the J. Cole project. You know, I'm pretty sure. You know, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. So if you got an opinion about J. Cole, what you heard thus far, comment in the comment section. Tell me if you like it, if you hate it, why you hate it, why you like it. Just hit me up in the comment section, and we'll meditate on your thoughts and opinions on the new J. Cole album, The Fall Off. Um, I'm not, from what I've heard, I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of liking it. But like I said, I haven't heard the whole entire project because I'm listening to songs. Sometimes I will listen to a song, and then I'll play it again because there's something that interests me in the song, particularly with the lyrics. So you guys tell me in the comment section how y'all feel about it. Okay, moving on. Okay, moving on. We can still talk about it. We can still crack-a-lack on whatever you talk about with J. Cole. But I want to move on to the next thing, the next topic. And the next topic is, I don't know why I want to call her Jada Pinkett Smith. Have no idea why I want to call her that. Actually, who I'm referring to is, and I just watched the video, Vivica A. Fox. Yes, so Vivica A. Fox was it was trending, and I remember hearing about it a couple of months ago. I wanted to talk about it, but it slipped my mind, so to say. But another content creator, did a follow-up video on what was trending 2 months ago. And what was trending was Vivica A. Fox, who's 60, decided to get a BBL. Now, she was on a talk show, one of those daytime talk shows. I forgot the name of the daytime talk show. And she was talking about it. And basically, she was just saying, hey, look, something I wanted to do. Is something that she wanted to enhance her body. She was okay with it. There was no insecurity issues or things of that nature. Vivica A. Fox is 60 years old. I didn't even know she was 60 years old. She's older than me, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of people were in the comment section, and I remember people talking about this briefly on social media a couple of months ago. But now there's now more of a driving audience on Vivica A. Fox and her BBL. Now, I looked at her BBL. I can understand why people have thoughts and concerns about Vivica A. Fox BBL, because, and before I get into this, I want to say this for the record, okay? You are a grown human being. You can do whatever you want to do. If you feel like you want a tummy tuck, then get a tummy tuck at any age. You want your breasts done, you can get them done at any age. If you want, or BBL or whatever. So by all means, I'm not judging anybody, well, any woman that wants to do this. You're a grown person. You have the right to what makes you feel good, because only you will feel good about this. Okay. Now, of course, you're going to get some eyeballs watching. You have guys staring at you. Some with the best intentions, some with the worst intentions, but that goes along with the territory. Okay. But that being said, I saw a Vivica A. Fox BBL. I think she was wearing some tight white pants. And I can see why people have a problem with it, okay? I'm not agreeing with the people that have a problem with it, but I can understand where people were coming from that had a problem with it. Now, first and foremost, I went on her Instagram page, and and what you see on the YouTube video of her wearing those white pants, it just didn't look, natural. It just looked like a big pillow back there. It was almost to the effect of someone sticking a big pillow on your backside. But when I see her on Instagram, when I see some of the pictures on Instagram or on social media, I've seen her in other outfits, and it looks very nice. So I'm thinking maybe it's the outfits. Maybe those white pants in particular made it look off. It almost to the effect. It's almost to the effect of the pants were trying to push the BBL in, and that's why it just didn't. It looked unusual. But when you see her in other outfits, it looks pretty nice. For Vivica A. Fox, even at 60. But I was reading the comments on the people said some nasty things about Vivica A. Fox in the comment section, and the majority of the comments were, she's too old to be getting a BBL. Okay, she's too old to be she's too old to be acting this way. She's too old to be acting that way. She's too old to be even concerned about even getting a BBL. She shouldn't be insecure of her body, because after all, in the aging process, things just go. It just, it's just a part of aging. Okay. So people, and when I say people, it's not just men commenting about it. It was women commenting about it. I say the majority of the hate for Vivica A. Fox were females. Now, there was some females that was encouraging it, and there was some females in the comment section that liked it, but there were some females that were on that, was in that lab of, hey, you're 60, you should be more concerned about being, what's the word I'm using for? What's the word I'm searching for? You should age with grace. You should age with grace. You shouldn't even be out here with a BBL. You're too old for a BBL. And I hear that all the time from people. And people act like age only applies to the people that are older. Do you realize it applies to you? I hear that all the time in the comments. Even in my comment section, some people say, man, you're too old to be on TikTok, or man, you're too old to be on Snapchat, or man, you're too old to be on social media, you too old for this. And that thought occurs to me like, hey, is there an age limit to BBLs? Like, should women should it be an age restriction in order to get a BBL? And what's the cutoff? Like 50, 40? Because I read an article a couple of years ago, and it was talking about how younger women are getting more surgery done on their bodies than older women. Let me repeat that again. Younger women are getting more surgery and more things done to their body than older women. Okay? So if Vivica A. Fox is too old to get a BBL, then what do you say to someone who's 23 or 24 and they want breast enhancements, or they want BBLs, or they want a tummy tuck? Okay? Are they too young to get that type of procedure done? So I feel like you can't have it both ways. If it's too old for her to have a BBL, then what's the starting age to even think about getting enhancements on your body? And if you're not at that starting age, then are you too young to get a BBL or body enhancements? Um, and people questioning, and people are using the picture of her wearing those white pants. And I felt like the pants, and I'm not no fashion guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I do feel like those pants she was wearing really did a disservice to her back end. Because when I look at her in other photos, in other different type of outfits, it looks okay. It looks okay to me. Okay. Maybe the pants were had too much restriction and didn't allow the buttocks to stick out. I mean, the buttocks were sticking out, but it was almost to the effect of the pants were trying to force it back in. Okay, and that's why you had that odd shape look, particularly when she turned around. And you can tell she knew about this because she was trying to do her best to keep her front side in front of the cameras. She didn't want them to show off her backside. Okay. But to me, it looked okay to me. I didn't see no issue with it. But like I said, people are entitled to their criticism. They're entitled to their opinion. If that's what they feel, then that's what they feel. But to me, I didn't see a huge issue with the BBL. Okay, I didn't see a huge issue with the BBL, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, but tell me what you think. If you're in the comment section, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this later on when it's no longer live, just comment in the comment section. Tell me, guys, what you thought about the BBL, and we'll just get it crack-a-lacking. Okay, so got that on out of the way. Let's get into some other topics and other discussions we could talk about. So one thing I wanted to talk about is, man, the tensions are rising in a real severe bad way with what's been going on, particularly with ICE and hold on one second. Particularly with ICE and how they're handling a lot of situations. And before I get into this, I want to say this. Thanks for the thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. Before I get into this topic, I first like to put a disclaimer. I do not like how things are being treated, how things are being viewed, how things are being interpreted, and about the immigration issue the protesting and the ICE agents. Okay, this blame pie has so many slices. Everyone deserves a piece. Um, Trump, you deserve a piece of it. Um, the ICE agency, you two guys deserve a piece of this blame pie. The protesting, not all of the protesting, but there's a lot of protesting where there's a lot of people that are grandstanding, trying to. Um, I just didn't like how that was handled. Um, and uh, there's been 2 citizens that have lost their lives over this. Now, I want to say this also. Just because I'm not happy with how this has been handled and how I have deep concerns for both sides, for both parties, does not mean I'm swiveling towards the left, I'm swiveling towards the right. Um, this is not a political issue with me, which, by the way, 2 things I don't do on my YouTube channel is talk about politics and religion. Because when you talk about politics and religion, you just bring the very worst individuals into the argument, into the discussion, okay? Or you bring people that have hidden agendas to the argument and they try to push their narrative into this argument and they try to piece things together that don't deserve to be put together. So yeah, to me, first and foremost, to the people out there that want to blame all of this on Trump, they don't want to blame the protesters. They don't want to blame the laws. They don't want to blame the Democrats. They don't want to blame the Republicans. This is all Trump's fault. To the people out there that single-handedly thinks all this is Trump's fault, Trump does deserve blame in this, but this is not all his fault. They don't realize that the person that they really should be blaming is the person that you look at in the mirror every day. You should be blaming yourself. And this is why voting matters. This is a prime example of why voting is important. And another thing is educating yourself in who's representing you in your city and state. So many times I hear so many celebrities, so many social media influencers, so many rappers, so many athletes, or just so many Tom, Dick, and Harrys that go on Discord or go on Instagram or do a TikTok live, and they say this, and they always say, well, voting doesn't matter. Voting is not important. We don't matter. So why vote? That's the narrative that everyone was pushing before we even gotten to the point where Trump won the office. That was the whole narrative for the last 2 years before we could actually vote for somebody. Hey, don't vote. It's a waste of time. Our voices don't matter. No one cares. You shouldn't vote. Okay? And to me, voting does matter. And you know what's worse than voting for the wrong candidate? Not voting at all. Because if you didn't like Trump and you feel like Trump wasn't the person that should be commander in chief, then why would you exercise the ability to not vote? It makes no absolute sense, you know, which personally, and this is on my personal level, this can, you guys have your own opinions, but to me, I felt like the Democratic Party failed us, just failed society. Because when, they were pumping up Biden, and that was their that was their number one. That was their A. That was a plan A. But the Democratic Party didn't have a plan B. Just in case Biden somehow slips up, or just in case Biden, uh, you know, you know, wasn't a good fit, or people didn't feel Biden should be reelected, the Democratic Party didn't have a solid plan B. Instead, the Democratic Party just kept pushing Biden. He was the golden goose. Okay. And when he had the I was gonna say verses. It wasn't a verses, but when him and Donald J. Trump had their uh, debate, Biden looked off. Looked like Biden wanted to go to sleep first and foremost. Like, this is way too late for Biden to be debating. And then Biden didn't have anything when Trump, he didn't attack Trump on the things Trump had said and did. Instead, he wanted to focus more on him as Biden. And I thought that was the wrong strategy. In order to suppress Trump, you had to bring up Trump's past. Biden refused to do that. Biden felt like, that was too low even for Biden. And Biden was also thinking, hey, look, I know Trump is a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get out of Trump. Trump. But he's not going to attack my son. He's not going to attack my father. He's not going to attack me because, the polls show that Trump is not even that popular. Okay? And it was almost to the effect where they switched strategies. And that's why Trump got that hype. He started to resonate with a lot of people. First and foremost, when you talk about Make America Great Again, that organization, he already got that locked down. When you talk about immigration, there was a lot of immigrants that was registered U.S. Citizens was going to vote for Trump. They did vote for Trump. And when you talk about the black vote, it was less and less African Americans voting at all. Okay? But just imagine if the immigrants that were U.S. citizens said, hey, look, I don't think Trump's really the answer. Let's not vote for Trump. Or if we had more and more black African Americans starting to vote, there would have been a huge difference on who would be our president today. Okay? And I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you guys. When I went to the polls, I wasn't a huge fan of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris didn't say anything that resonated with me as, okay, she's going to be our commander in chief. And they brought out Kamala Harris so late in the game, because they was trying to scramble and figure out, oh my God, Biden is struggling in the polls. We got to come with a plan B. Obviously, Biden wasn't it. Which you should have had a plan B in the beginning. But like I said, they put all their eggs in one basket with Biden. And when Biden just wet the bed, now the Democrat Party looks dumb and stupid. Okay? So they sort of try to force us Kamala Harris. Okay? Well, we'll reel in Biden and we'll push out Kamala Harris. And when they push out Kamala Harris, nobody had a true understanding of Kamala Harris. Yeah, we knew of her, when she was a DA in Los Angeles, and we knew that she was for women, which, by the way, a lot of women voted for Trump. The black vote wasn't there for Kamala Harris because not a lot of black people voted to begin with. And a lot of black men, especially, were turned off by Kamala Harris and her attitude or her, mannerisms, okay? But like I said, they brought Kamala Harris so late in the game, no one got a real good understanding of Kamala Harris. So that whole thing was botched up by the Democratic Party and was even botched up further because not enough people in the African American community voted in the first place. So when you got those two things going against you, Democratic Party, of course, you left the door open for Trump to come in. And Trump promised a lot of things in before he became president. And have any of those things resonated? No. No tax on overtime. He knew by saying no tax on overtime, people were going to automatically just vote. Oh my! Did you hear what Trump said? I had so many coworkers come up to me while I used to work at my former job. Oh, you heard what Trump said? No overtime, Chris. I mean, we can work all the overtime we want, and they won't tax us. And I'm looking at them. And I'm saying, I don't really think that's the ideology of what he's saying. I don't believe he's just going to not Trump. He's not going to tax all overtime. There's got to be something in this that he's going to later tell us that isn't true. Oh, no, 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 no. I trust Trump. That's why I voted for him. No tax on overtime. And then when he got voted in, and little by little people got information, yeah, it's no tax on overtime, but it's to a certain extent. They're going to tax the rest, but only to a certain extent. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs up. So, for people to sit up there and say, "Oh my God, did you hear what Trump's going to do this for us? And Trump's going to do that for us." Okay, it didn't resonate the way people thought it was going to resonate. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah. But back to what the original discussion was going to be about. Two incidents happened. And I got oh my God, I left my drink right there. I'll get it later. So, two things happened, and it had something to do with two protesters. Let's first talk about I think she was in Wisconsin, and basically she was married, and it was a woman behind the wheel. Her wife was behind the wheel. There was ICE agents all over the vehicle, and they asked her to get out of the vehicle, and her wife told her to just drive, baby. And it doesn't matter if it was unintentional or if it was intentional, but she drove, and without thinking, I do believe she didn't mean to hit the agent, but she wasn't thinking. All she thought about, all that resonated in her head was her wife telling her to just drive, baby. And that's what she did. She put it in gear and drove. I don't believe she intentionally hit the agent, but it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what her wife believed, and it really doesn't matter, God rest her soul, what she believed in. The agents perceive that as vehicle homicide. When you drive into somebody, intentional or unintentional, that's homicide. Even if you're not intentionally trying to harm that person, that's still homicide. So, the cop, shot at the female, and she got deleted, and that blew up on social media. And then you had people, frame by frame, criticizing frame by frame. I mean, the actual scene took like less than 10 seconds. Who has time to process what to do in 10 seconds? And I'm talking about on both sides. I'm talking about the lady, the female driver. And I'm also talking about the agent. It's easy to armchair quarterback in the comforts of your own home and critique, well, they should have done that, or she should have done this. It's easy to sit in your lazy boy recliner as an armchair quarterback this situation. Not in real time. I mean, you're armchair quarterbacking 10 seconds and you're breaking it down, and you're taking like 40 minutes to break it down. But I don't have any proof in what I just said. I don't believe the lady intentionally tried to hit the agent, but by the letter of the law, that is vehicle homicide. Okay? When you use your vehicle as a deadly weapon, what do you expect them to do? You understand what I'm saying? It's no different if there's police officers around me and I have a stick in my hand. Just a stick in my hand. They ask me to put it down. I refuse to put it down. And I'm just lifting the stick up in the air. Now, they don't know if I'm going to try to harm somebody with a swing. They don't know any of that stuff, okay? So even though it's a wooden stick, and even if I hit you, the most you're going to get out of this stick, maybe a bruise, you're going to feel some pain. But that stick can be implied as a weapon. It's a wooden stick, Chris. I mean, how can you harm somebody? How can you delete somebody with a wooden stick? I get that understanding, but what people seem to forget that stick is a weapon. So the officers, they have a decision to make. Okay? Now, of course, if they could try to disarm you without using their weapon, they would. But it depends on the situation. It depends on the angles. It depends on everything. Okay? When tensions are high, people don't process things clearly. And I'm not only the ICE agents, but the two women in question. When tensions are at an all-time high, you're not really thinking clearly. You're not thinking rationally. Common sense has been thrown out the window like 10 minutes ago. So I feel bad that the lady got deleted, but what if they didn't fire on her? She runs over the officer. Now the officer's killed. Then the armchair quarterbacks of the world, that's the same ones that gave you this theory and this opinion about the officers doing something wrong to the female, these same individuals will be armchair quarterbacking in the comforts of their own home, by the way, saying, well, the officers should have shot her. Or try to get her out of the car. You couldn't get her out of the car because she had the door locked and she was driving so fast, there's no way you can. So, in other words, they would say, well, they should have done something. That poor officer and his family, that family is never going to see their father again. Their father, you see what I'm saying? But when tensions are at an all-time high, no one's really thinking clearly. No one's really thinking rationally. And common sense has been thrown out the window. And it's easy a day, 2 weeks go, a day, 2 days go by, a week go by, a month go by. We can armchair quarterback this and say, well, they should have done this. They should have done that. You had a whole month to come with this. They should have done this. They should have done that. If they had a whole month, then things would be a lot different. But they only had 10 seconds? I think they had less than that. Okay? But then again, the agency deserves blame in this. And I feel like the woman that drove the vehicle into the officer deserves some type of blame in this. Everyone deserves blame in this situation. I don't, I'm not going to say there was no heroes, there were no villains, there was no victims. But what I am going to say is, it's just an effed up situation that when you're not applying and utilizing common sense, stuff like this happens. As for the doctor, you know, I've on footage on the doctor, and this goes back to the female. Let's go back to before we go into the doctor. Let's talk about. See, people focus on those 10 seconds, but people don't really focus on the minute after the 10 seconds, or the 5 minutes before that minute before the 10 seconds. If you look at that full video, those two women were not cooperating with law enforcement, and they were detaining them from doing their job by blocking their vehicles in the street and things of that nature. All right. Not saying that it was wrong for them to do that. Not saying that it's right for them to do that. But you got to understand the consequences when you do things. You dig what I'm saying? When you're deterring them from apprehending someone from doing, y'all do realize that's a law. Like if an officer is chasing down this bank robber and then I stick my foot out and the officer trips over it and the robber gets away or don't get away, it doesn't even matter if the robber gets away or don't get away. I'm stopping that officer from doing his job. So yeah, I will get arrested for that. Y'all do know when you deter an officer from doing their job, you just as guilty as the person that they trying to apprehend. Or if they ask me, or if I'm a witness, they say I'm a witness. I go downtown and I lie about everything. Oh, I didn't see him. I did see him. I give them a vague description. I say this. I'm saying a bunch of lies to throw them off. When they do their investigation, they finally apprehend the person. They start doing their investigation. Wait a minute, Chris, you said he was here. Then you said this. Then you said that. Then you said. See, if you didn't say all these things, we wouldn't have been looking in them places. We would have been looking in the right places. Okay, you're stopping them from their investigation. You're stopping them from doing their job. Why would you do that? Okay, so that's what I would say with the two females. But everyone deserves blame in that. I'm not saying that the ICE agents don't deserve, but they deserve plenty of blame. But I also do feel like those two females, they deserve some blame as well. Let's just be fair about it. Let's not, say, let's not do the PR thing. Let's not, incite people that believe that it's all their fault. Okay, let's be fair about this. Let's be really fair about this. And yeah, so I'm sorry that it happened, but it happened. Okay. As far as the doctor, I heard someone on Discord saying, well, he was a doctor and, he could have been there to help people that was injured in the protests and the riots and, yada, yada, yada. And, that can all be true. I'm not saying that it ain't true, but all that could be true. But here's my question to a lot of you guys. Thanks for the thumbs up. Hold up. I'm trying to get my damn phone. I got a question for you guys. Yeah, all that could be true. But my whole thing about that whole situation is, let's be fair about it. Let's be fair about it. And again, I feel like everyone deserves blame in this situation. Everybody deserves blame in this situation. First and foremost, with this situation, I think the ICE officers deserve even more blame in this situation. Now, if you look at the whole entire video, not just the video that they pinned him down and they shoot him, not, look at that, but pay attention to the whole situation. He didn't block them from doing their job, but he was being a disruptor of that situation. He damaged a lot of their property that don't mean that that gives you the right to delete him. No. Okay. He also what was not cooperating with um their, when they were trying to arrest him, he was being very uncooperative about that. Does that mean that you should delete him? No. Okay. Um, and with that situation, I feel like ICE deserve all the blame for that. That could have been avoided. Okay, this is a little bit different. He didn't have a weapon on him. So you can't say that he had a knife or a gun on him and he could have injured or possibly deleted one of the ICE agents. He wasn't in a vehicle. He didn't use his vehicle as a weapon. He could have injured or deleted one of the agents. You know, basically, well, yeah. Was he combative? Yeah, he was very combative. Was he? What was he? Did he cooperate? He didn't cooperate fully. Um, so I feel like with the agency, they could have handled that a lot better. Okay, they could have handled that a lot better. But see, that's and I just found out that that they're hiring these agents pretty much off the street. You dig what I'm saying? So the officers in question, I don't think they had extensive training on handling situations like this, where if they let the officers of that city and that state handle that, I think that man would definitely be alive. Okay, but yeah, all that is the ICE agents. I don't think they handled it. It's not a thing. I know for a fact they didn't handle it very very well. Um, and to me, the ICE agency deserves a lot of blame for that, and you know for Trump to just dismiss it and say, "Oh well, it is what it is," and this that. Now he did do an interview a couple of I feel like a day or so ago, maybe 2 days ago, and he voiced his frustrations with how everything has been going on. Which um to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, that's the only route he can take. You dig what I'm saying? That's the only route he can take. So, it's not like he's doing us a favor by being truthful, being thoughtful, being honest. That's the only route you can take at this point. So, um, now, yesterday, they were talking, no, it was, yeah, it was yesterday afternoon. They was talking about someone in the White House staff, well, in Trump's White House staff, made an AI video. I guess he was using the Lion King as reference, and Donald Trump is the lion, and there was like all the other politicians that Trump had problem with were other animals, but when it came to the Obamas, he put apes. He had two apes and put Obama and his wife's face on the apes, which is totally disrespectful. Now, the video did get deleted. They did say it came from a staffer in Trump's regime, but no apology was issued. And I remember talking about this. A lot of people get caught up in not apologizing. I don't understand why people get caught up for just simply just not apologizing. Even if you don't believe it, even though you don't feel it in your heart, you know, apologizing for an incident, even if you feel like it's not, you're not responsible for the incident. People have a huge issue of apologizing on national television or on social media. People just simply just refuse. They rather just die on the sword, literally. People would sabotage their own reputations. They will destroy their own careers. They will people that would ride and die for them will soon break break ties and sever a relationship with them. They would rather go through all of that drama than to just simply just look in front of the camera and just apologize. And I remember talking about this about Corey Holcomb on my other YouTube channel. You know, when Corey Holcomb, when that video, Corey Holcomb, and Anton Daniels, they're having a back and forth, and the fighting, going outside fighting and all that stuff. Um, you know, to me, if I'm Corey Holcomb, I said my piece, I'm dropping it, I'm moving on. But an individual such as Corey Holcomb, he likes to keep putting more fuel to the fire. And he's playing really a dangerous game, particularly if you have a checkerboard pass. You can't really be playing or engaging in tick for tack games, particularly with someone with that's squeaky clean. As of right now, squeaky clean, unless something comes out of Anton Daniels. Okay, but that's when you start hearing. That's when the infamous video drops of Corey Holcomb. He said he mushed a girl in the face. The video looked like he struck the girl in the face. It doesn't really matter if you mush a female in their face or if you hit a woman in her face. It's still assault. It's still assault. You can put your finger on an individual. It's assault. Okay. And by you closing the gap, closing the distance, like you trying to encourage a fight. Like if you're spread apart, y'all spread like they were, and y'all just having words, this, that, and the third, the worst someone can say is, man, you sure do like to argue, like particularly with females, okay? Whatever, okay? But when you close in on the space, when you're arguing, okay, now you're getting in someone's face, and now you're entertaining something like that to happen. That's exactly what happened to Corey Holcomb. And when that video dropped, he just, still kept going on and on with Anton Daniels. And, he even had T-shirts of, and I'm going to tell you why there's a connection with the video of Trump with the apes having the Obama's face in front of apes. Corey Holcomb did the same thing. He had a T-shirt, and he used, apes for Anton Daniels, his wife, and his underage daughter. And you can clearly see in the live stream, even though Corey Holcomb thought it was funny, his compadre didn't want to be involved with it. And Darlene definitely didn't want to be involved with it. Everyone was at the table. They were shocked. They had their heads dropped and everything. They just didn't want to be involved in the fuckery Corey Holcomb was unleashing on Anton Daniels. They would say, hey, look, that's your thing, okay? So when Corey Holcomb asked Darlene to hold the T-shirt, she said, no, I don't want to do that. Okay? And, Corey says, oh, if you don't appreciate, so you just only appreciate a small portion of me, you don't appreciate all of me. So I tell you what, I'll find a bitch to, I'll find someone that will hold their shirt up. You don't have to worry about it no more. He's basically insinuating that she's fired on live TV, which that's not good if you're Corey Holcomb, because if she's fired, she has grounds to sue you. And that videotape is not going to make you look good, which means you're going to have to settle with her as well. Okay? It's not the fact that she doesn't support what you have done for her over the years and she's not loyal to you. It's the fact that she don't want to be involved in this because this is real ugly, man. This is real nasty. I don't want to be included in this. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, basically, Corey Holcomb got mad about it and insinuated that he was going to let her go. Okay, cool. And the one thing I want to say this before we go back into the topic is it's kind of funny to me how we, uh, and it goes back to I always say this: if you are good, if people like you, people will be delusional on the antics that you do. Well, that's a likable person, so I'm going to let them slide on what they said or what they did. Some whatever despicable things or whatever fuckery that they did, I like them. So I'm gonna let them ride with it. But if it's somebody that you don't like and that individual does the exact same thing, then now all of a sudden your energy is, well, that's real despicable. You really have bad taste. I mean, you're a disgusting human being. Okay? So someone that you like and that you ride and die for, if they do it, it's okay. But someone that you don't like does it, then they're a piece of shit. So it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when other people do it. That's basically what it is. And that's basically what it boils down to with Corey Holcomb with the T-shirt with the 8 have the monkeys representing Anton, his wife, and his underage daughter. And I'm not a big Anton Daniels fan. I knew I knew Corey Holcomb show way before I knew Anton Daniels show, but I never subscribed to neither one of them because they be having some real fuckery on there. I watch the clips. That's as far as I go with them, with both of them. Okay. But it's kind of funny to me how we in the black community don't. I'm not saying all of us, but there's a percentage of us that say this. I don't respect what Corey Holcomb did with that T-shirt, but that's Corey being Corey. But when a staffer that you don't even know about in Trump's staff did the Lion King thing and had the Obamas featured on it, then it's the most disgusting thing imaginable. I feel like both things are disgusting. The Obama cartoon, Lion King cartoon, I think that's disgusting. And I think what Corey Holcomb did is very disgusting. And it's even more disgusting that you're going to allow someone to hold a T-shirt that they're not, look, they don't want to be a part of it. They understand this is your show. They understand that, you say things, you don't say things to get close to the edge. You say things to just jump right off the edge. And that's fine. If you want to do that, do you. But to me, there's some people out there that don't rock that way. They don't appreciate that. You dig what I'm saying? So if you're going to have energy for the Trump party doing it to the Obamas, you should have the same energy for Corey Holcomb, what he did with Anton Daniels. And I'm not a huge Anton Daniels fan. I don't support Anton Daniels. I don't even support Corey Holcomb. But if you want to say that there's some victims involved, it's I wouldn't even say too much of his wife, because his wife sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes she's, in and out of the live streams. But she's not a content creator. I get all that. But her their underage daughter don't deserve this. She's not on social media 8 hours a day talking about topics and things of that nature. Okay, so why does she get why does she get the fade? Okay, why does she get the shots? Okay, so yeah. Let me see. So like I said, if y'all want to Comment in the comment section. Comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think. You dig what I'm saying? Um, so that's pretty much it. I was looking at the time momentarily. Thought I had time to tell you guys this story. But you know what? I'm gonna save this story for tomorrow or next week, and we'll talk about it. I might be on live Monday or Tuesday, like around 3, 4 in the morning, but it will not be no face, no case. All right. So I will talk. I will go in detail about that story. So, guys, I'm about to be done. I'm about to head on out. It's been look. I really do appreciate everyone that came by. I really do appreciate the likes. I really do appreciate the people that have been subscribing. I really do appreciate the people that appreciates me and they understand me. You know, separating the troll comments, I'm so used to I can read a troll comment a mile away, so I don't really pay attention to the troll comments, okay? Because I know they're just trying to get a rise off of me or a rise in the comment section, whatever the case may be. Um, but people that are new and they just subscribe to me, like they'll look at my shorts and they don't understand where I'm coming from with it. Okay. People that's been rocking with me from day one, they truly understand where I'm coming from. People that have time, that has time with me, that have watched my live streams, watched my shorts, watched my videos, they understand where I'm coming from. Okay. Um, they know that, hey, look, this is, I like to tell stories. Talk to you guys later.